Steve, happy birthday. When you receive this, I will have been 60 for 3 days, and frankly not looking forward to it. When I first met Steve, it was at Hartwick College. I was his freshman roommate, one of 2 freshman roommates. And my first experience with Steve and what Steve is like is as the first day we were walking down to the get some dinner, and he turns to me and he goes, "You're okay. You can stay." Now, being a naive kid from the Midwest, I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "We got 3 roommates. I want 2 people in that room. You're in, John Roberts is out. I'm getting rid of him." Needless to say, I was kind of shocked and frankly a little scared. And Steve, well, yes, John Roberts didn't last long. A few firecrackers in his bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, short sheeting his bed, turning his radio on, changing his clock. A few, just nice little love things like that. And John was soon gone. Needless to say, I also learned that freshman year to keep one eye open when I slept. I wasn't really sure about Steve at that point. But we roomed again the next year as sophomores. And next year, sophomore year, boy, it was wild. Steve is from Delmar, New York, and wouldn't you happen to know, right across the hall were 2 fellow Delmartians, young Paul Reinhardt and Tom, I never went to class, Keenan. Well, those 3 of them took this nice Midwestern boy who worked hard and tried to study hard and led him down a path that, well, frankly, was a dark path. I could sum that up on our 20th birthday, Steve, 40 years ago, when we were having fun celebrating both of our birthdays, and Steve Fro decided that it would be a good idea to celebrate our birthdays by streaking. Yes, we all thought that was a great idea, even though it was sleeting rain at that point. So we got undressed, because that's what you do when you streak, except Steve, who decided that he needed to wear a hat and ski goggles so that, quote, nobody knew who he was. Now, this is Hartwick College, and when you're about 6'2", and you have a little bit darker skin, and an extremely large afro, I kind of think people knew who you were, Steve, even if he had goggles on and a hat. But off we went into the, into the night, into the freezing rain. Somehow word got out, people were hanging out of the dorm, and as we came around the corner, we had forgotten one small fact about the campus that day, that the NCAA regional basketball was getting out at that time, and there was traffic, bumper to bumper to bumper, of which Steve decided that that was like a skiing slalom course, and he could run in and out, in and out, in and out. So that was fun. We had a great time. After that, we got a lot of people wishing us happy birthdays, but Steve, if I remember correctly, I don't think we got any dates for whatever reason. So the Delmartians, young Paul Reinhardt in particular, and Steve, as I said, they were a lot of fun. And that summer between Steve's and my sophomore and junior year, right before he transferred to Brandeis, the 2 of them decided to come down and visit me at our house in Port Colborne, Ontario, Sugarloaf. And Steve had done this before, and Steve loved our cottage because he could lie on the porch, listen to the waves and the wind, sleep, and my mother would come in often and say, Steve, can I get you anything? And of course, if Steve wanted anything, she would run away and get it. So Steve could lie in this bed and be taken care of, as he should be. My mother loved it. But the highlight of that particular trip was these 2 guys wanted to go and see Niagara Falls. So off we trekked to Niagara Falls. And if you go to Niagara Falls, whoever's watching this film, you need to go on the Maid of the Mist. It's a boat that takes you right up to the falls, and it is spectacular. They give you a raincoat. It does get quite wet, but, you have the raincoat, and it's good. And at that time, 40 years ago, you could come off the boat and you could go right down to the river's edge, which we did. And as we're standing literally right on the river's edge, and this is a wild river, it's deep, there's lots of rapids, and the water is just traveling at a tremendous speed. Steve turns and goes, "How cold do you think that water is?" I said, "Steve, the water is as cold as it is in Port Colborne, 10 miles up the lake on Lake Erie." "No," Steve said, no, that water looks really cold." I said, "Steve, you got an A in geography at Hartwick College. It's Lake Erie, Niagara Falls, the water goes over Niagara Falls into Lake Ontario." So let me preface, an A in geography at Hartwick was nothing. Everybody got an A in that class. I even got an A. Enough said. So anyway, Steve's still going, no, it looks really cold. I'm going to go down and touch the water. So down he goes, down these rocks, and I'm looking at this green pass of slimy algae, and I'm going, there's no way this guy's going to step on that, is he? Sure enough, steps on it, feet higher than his head, splash. Comes bobbing up. I don't think he knows how cold the water is, but he's in shock as he's floating down this river, bobbing and weaving in the river. It's wild, rapids, and so on and so forth. And all I can do is I remember standing there going, Bloom, you idiot. I can't believe what an idiot you are. Now, fortunately for both Steve and I, young Paul Reinhardt, you know, the future financial genius analysis that he is for General Electric, jumped, analyzed the situation, jumped forward, grabbed Steve, and the two of them, right before they both were about to go into the river, I was able to grab Paul's belt and pull him out. Now that would be a nice end of the story, but no, not with Steve. We had to go back up the way we came down, past all the tourists, waiting to get on this boat. And as I told you, you do get wet and they do give you raincoats. Well, Steve being completely wet in a fro that was now mopped down and hair, water ringlets running off of his hair ringlets. These people were looking, thinking, what the heck? And Steve, of course, would look them right in the eye and smile and give them tremendous advice. Wear the raincoat. So Steve, many memories, many happy memories, many wonderful memories. Fro, you're always my friend. Every time we email or I chat, it's like we were back just 2 minutes ago. So all the best on your 60th. Keep kicking, buddy. Love you. See ya.